Morning, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience this morning. You know how it can be with technology, which is what we're using. Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of the JBDC Virtual Biz Zone. My name is Sansia Campbell, and as usual, I'm your host for the morning. So this morning, we are going to be talking about the business of beads. And we have an expert with us who has been with us for a while. His name is Aloha Lukman Omateo. And Mr. Omateo is a Nigerian artist, volunteer, cultural diplomat to Jamaica. He holds a bachelor's degree in painting from the University of Lagos, a Master of Fine Arts in printmaking from the University of Benin, and he's currently pursuing his PhD from the same university before he was appointed by the federal government. So he's been in Jamaica for a while, sharing with us his knowledge on batik and all the other techniques. But this morning, what he's going to be sharing with us on is the business of beads. Now, since Mr. Omateo has been here in Jamaica, he has been fully integrated, been involved with quite a number of our sessions in terms of training, workshops, and developing the Jadire. I hope I said that right, the Jadire fabric that we're going to be using. And of course, he is a jewelry lecturer at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. So he is really a Jamaican by now because he's been here a while and he's fully integrated. Without further ado, because I know that we took a little while to come in because of the technological challenges, I'm going to hand over to Alo so that he can share with you what he has this morning. A reminder that the session, though, is being recorded and you can access it on YouTube if for any reason you have to leave. And this will be available by Friday of this week. You can also follow us on any of our social media handles on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any of them, or Twitter now known as X. So without further ado, it's over to you, Alo. And ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to interact with Alo, drop some questions in the chat, and certainly enjoy this morning's session. All right, Alo, it's over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sansia. Yes, before I start, I will quickly give a little brief on what beads are and what are the significance of beads, not just in Africa alone, but in the other parts of the world. Beads are something that we use for body adornment, not just for body adornment. Sometimes we use in Africa generally, they use it at when you get to maturity stage, and also it is used for fertility, and also it's very powerful. Let me just put it that way. And another thing that beads are very, very viable for in Africa, let me put it, it's a kind of kind of symbol of wealth, and also it gets there. Sometimes in Africa that the bead were used as an exchange of that is a means of exchange. And then not just in Africa, in Jamaica too, we have some other beads too, which they were used for the blessing and kind of spiritual power. Not just, if I say spiritual power, not demonic way, but in the when you have that bead on you and you know that there's something good that follows you. And also in beads again, we have different kind of beads. We have those that are shells, or what I mean, different kind of beads or different kind of materials that beads are made from. So beads are made from the bone, the shell, wood, and some other materials, and you can find or some other indigenous material. But in the modern time, you know, modernization has come around, in which so many artists that you can divide the means of doing some of your beads. Sometimes you use paper. Sometimes we use some other material that you can find around you to make some, most especially what I call the fashion jewelry. Now, and in fashion jewelry, we have when it comes to a big business, it is a viable business, and it is a business that is very, very lucrative, and most especially when you know how to, when you're very artistic, and also you know your audience and where, and also you know where your market is. And another thing again is that when you're making some of your beads, you know, you have to be very creative. When I mean creative, you know, things are changing very, very well now. If you do some other, it's just like fashion. You know, fashion changes and so many things going on with the contemporary age that is moving on. And then some of the beads again, because of the things changing, you can enhance your bead with other precious metal or semi-precious metal or precious stone or semi-precious stones. Because even though some of the precious stone that you can make some bead from, we have those in emerald and sapphire and some other things like that. You can enhance them with some of your bead. So not to take too much of our time, I'm going to show some of the samples of beads. Beads come in different forms. We have the crystal bead, glass bead, even though we have coral beads. And, you know, I do mention earlier on that beads are very significant in every society. For example, in Nigeria, the coral bead signifies royalty. And it's used by the royals, not just the royals alone, but even though the ordinary or the common people too, they use it most especially if you want to do wedding. Nigeria is diverse in culture. I use Benin as an example. If you go online, if you Google and Benin, that's the Benin Kingdom of Nigeria, and you Google or you go online, you see some of their beads, royal beads, whether for wedding or for any occasion. You see the way those beads were arranged. It will be a little bit different the way they use them, and they use more of the coral beads. And also, if you go to the Yorubas of Nigeria again, you see the way they use their beads is also different, but all of them, they use coral bead. While in the modern time, we use some of these fashion beads, which are colorful, different colors, not just in Nigeria alone, let me tell you. In Kenya, for example, the Maasai of Kenya, the way they do their adornment with their bead is very, very intricate and very, very very beautiful, and the way they use their color. The same thing, when you see them, you know that this is Kenya, and also the way they arrange their beads with the colors again, and most of those colors again talk about it. Let me put it this way: most of the colors signifies it's something very good. And also moving to South Africa, the way they arrange their beads again, and the way they do their beading, and also the arrangement, you'll be able to tell this is South Africa. Now, let me come back to Jamaica. Jamaica too, they have how they make some of their beads, which are very, very unique, especially the Rastafarians. When I first came to Jamaica here, saw the way, I saw those colors. It's very beautiful. They use the way they use those colors are very, very beautiful, and also the arrangement. So that's why you'll be able to know, even though in Jamaica here, outside of Jamaica, if you see the bead made in Jamaica, you'll be able to tell this is made in Jamaica because of the way they use the color and and also the way they use their design. But in the contemporary age now that I showed you, I'll show you some sample of some of these some of these fashion jewelry or fashion bead that you could use for everyday outing. This is one example here. It was made here. So I made some of these. These are the example of what I'm talking about. And you can see the way those beads are. And making beads or making jewelry with bead is very simple. It's a repeat pattern. Sometimes sometimes back, let me say, when a blind girl, her name is Shamoya, yes, I can remember her name. She came here like 3 years ago when she wanted to learn how to do bead, because I met some other Jamaican here in which when I showed them or when they came, they always think, oh, this is very, oh, me can't do this. This is very difficult. And I told them that it is not difficult. But when this blind girl came, they came to JBDC here where I trained her. The first thing she said, and the person that brought her, she said, oh, there's nothing that is difficult except you don't put your mind in. And truly, she learned how to do most of these designs. She learned how to do most of these designs. And also, I'll show you another design again, which also we have the varial design. But in the meantime, I'm going to do some demonstration, just a little demonstration of stringing of beads. You can see this one, and also we'll have another one again, which you can also see as a business when you're fashion jewelry, when it comes to making bead. You can see this is another pattern again that now these are glass beads. This glass bead are the small ones in which you arrange them in a very then a sequential manner, and then it come out as beautiful as this. And also, I show you another sample of. We have various design of these beads and bead making. Now all these ones that I've shown you so far, they are, as I said earlier on, they are repeat patterns. And the bead making is simple repeat pattern. You keep repeating the same thing, but sometimes it's either that you'll be adding one or subtracting one or subtracting two out of it until you get the finish or to get to your finished results. And I talk about the artistic, and I talk about how you could also make some bead yourself, or you can, because of the contemporary age now, there are so many things or so many ways in which you can also make some of your bead. These are some beads here made from sand. Use some sand and glue, put some glue inside the sand, and also you now use some crystal in between the beads. I think I'm pretty sure some of you can see them. Actually, this, you see this green one is made from sand, and then we put some glue on it, and also, that's why I said there's some certain stage in which now that and you have to be very creative in everything you're doing. But I'm going to do some little demonstration of beads. Just stringing the bead. Now, if I have to string this bead now, okay. Very simple method in which I'll be able to tell you, or to just to show you that and bead making, it's more of a repeat patterns, and which you can get so many results out of it. And what I do now, or what I did now, I'm going to combine different colors of beads, combine it together. Now I put one bead here. This is one string of bead. Then the next thing I'm going to put, I put another two beads on, or one bead on both sides. One bead on both sides. Now making it three. Now this method I'm doing now, I'm going to show you a finished work. And what I'll do now, take one bead. Now you can see now that I have three beads here, but I have another one that I just pick. Then I cross the line with this. And this is what you will get. You will get a shape like it's either like square. When you turn it, when you hold it this way, it looks like a square. And when you put it this way, it looks like a cross. And you see, the way I put this one, I make use of 4 bead. Then the next step, remember I said bead making is a repeat pattern, and in which you can go on doing the same thing. And what I do, so the next thing I'm going to do now, I put another bead on both sides, one here, one from the right and one from the left. Then I'll take one bead and I'll cross it this way. You can see my finger, how I do it. Then I do the same thing again. Let me pick another color for the bead. I put one here, another one here. Now see what I did. On both sides. Then I'll take one bead to cross. You can see that I'm using the yellow bead to cross. And make sure when you're doing your jewelry bead, make sure you select your color very well, which is very, very important, so that you can have a very unique and perfect finished work. Now you can see what I did here. So if I keep repeating the same thing, then, okay, let me just do maybe like 5. Then I show it to you. Then I will show you one of the finished one that I'll show you one of the finished one. As I said, one on both sides, and you take one to cross. So most time I use the yellow to cross. Now see the way. So I put one here, then I take the fishing line and put it across in here. You can see how it's moving on. So see how it's moving on. Then you keep doing the same thing till you get exact length, or the length that you want. Then the next thing I cross again. One from the left and run, one from the right. Then I take one to cross it. Then what I do, then I drag it down. Now, you can see the results, how it's moving. So you can do it. Sometimes you could use it for a bangle. I'm trying to select my colors, because inside here, the bead I have, there are multiple colors. Then I pull it down. Then let me pick another one here. One here. One on both sides. Now take one to cross. I'll do now. I'm trying to make sure maybe if I can get, I do a length of a bangle, which is very simple. Now you can see doing this now, within a day, you can do almost 100 of it with no stress. And this is not just ordinary stringing now. You know that ordinary stringing, you just put it and then and that is all. But this one now, and also I'm using yellow for the middle part. So random colors. Then when you do this, sometimes again, you can use, it depends on kind of fishing line you're using. Sometimes we have some elastic one that once you use them, you don't need to put hook on it already. When you finish, you just tie it up and you drag it and it stretches. So, but this time around, I'm not using that, but rather I'm using a fishing line gauge point gauge 35. The gauge 35. That's what I'm using. So make sure when you're doing it and it's firm, make sure it doesn't look slack. Because if it's slack right from the beginning, then your work wing won't come out very neat. Now you can see in no time, you can see the length which I have made. So, but I'm going to add a little more so that it can fit into my hand.
In the meantime, while you're adding beads, Alo, I must say that's a really beautiful pattern that you're doing, and quite a number of the participants in the session this morning are concurring with that. So there are a couple of questions for you. Number one,
Okay.
Where can we get beads to buy?
Okay. Some of the places that you can get beads to buy on the Ligani Drugs and Garden. That's a very good place for you to get beads to buy. And also, there's another place at downtown. I will check, but the most time I go to Ligani Drug and Garden. Yes. So you get so many crystal beads and very nice beads over there.
Somebody said T&B downtown. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes, T&B downtown. T&B downtown.
And then somebody is asking, do you use the stretchy string? I know you said the fishing line, but is the stretchy string recommended, or what is the best recommendation for the beads?
Yes, if you're doing a bango and have bango, the stretch string is much more better. It's much better, but although both are very good, depending on the on the kind of bead you are doing, or let me say, depending on the design that you want to achieve. Sometimes there are some design that that required that you don't need the stretch string. For example, let me quickly show you one. You see this one now. If you're doing this one now, you don't need a stretch. Just use the normal fishing line. You might use gauge 30, gauge 40, and you know, because they are a small glass bead, so the stretchy fishing line won't go in here. Or if you get the tiny one might cut easily. So you just use a normal fishing line, and when you finish, and when you want to put hook on it, and make sure at least has space in between. Sometimes you can put some other jump ring, like 2, 3, so that if because of the size of the bangle, so you might have some people who have big hand, so that you see the extra jump ring you put there might allow you to expand or get any size that you want. So I'm going to end this one here now and show you the finished one. So once I do this, so you can see the length I have made in just a few minutes. So what I do now, I will knot it twice. When you knot it twice, don't cut the fishing line yet, because the same fishing line here is what you're going to use to put the hook. I think I have some couple of hook here on the table. Yes, so my name I have said, okay, yeah, that's good. See the hook. Now the hook I'm using now is yeah, which is very good for it. So it won't really show when you do, you see. So the same thing, you knot it twice. Now, there's one very, very important thing I must tell you. Once you knot, now you can see make sure you have XX, the fishing line remaining. Don't cut it. If you cut it right at the edge here, now when any person that wear the bead, because when you cut it, it will have a very sharp edge, so it will be eating your skin. So what you do now is you pass the remaining one here, pass it through. Just thread it through the bead instead of cutting. So even though if I'm to cut it, I will make sure that where it will be cut is not, it won't leave any sharp sharp edge. So I put it around. This is very, very important because most people don't know this. Once they do the knotting, what they did, the next thing they did is just cut. So when you cut, then you started having some very sharp edge that will be itching the skin. So you can see the way I've passed that one. I just pass it through the bead. The same thing you do with any bead or any beading design. Now you can see where the fishing line is. Now at this stage now you can cut it, or even though you can still string it down, and then before you cut it. When you do that, meaning that it won't leave any sharp teeth at the edge here. So for this one now, what I would do, put another fishing line to the finished one. Let me finish up this one. Make sure when you put it in there, knot it twice, as I said, to stay. Then I pick up the other end, then string it in. The same thing, I knot it twice. as I told you, make sure that you don't cut parts. Don't just cut it once and not it. So I'll pass it through the bead. I do the same thing here. Now I'll show you a very good sample. And I cut the other one too. So what I did is I just hide the fishing line. Then after that, I cut it off. You can see this is the finished work. Now, you see this method that I did, I'll show you a very good sample of it. Now, with this method alone, you can use it to create different designs. Now, look at it. So let me just hold it instead of putting it on the next stand. You can see it's the same method that I use here. See it? Then I'll show you again. See? Only because this one is a big bead and this one is a smaller one. You see? Now, you remember I said you can do various design with this method alone. Once you have this, once you do this, just like the way I have it here, you see, you do a length, a quiet length that could go for a necklace. Then you do the finishing and you put the hook, right? Then you started making another design on the body of the cross one that you did. Now, most of my beads, again, I title them. I call this one Forest. It looked like a forest, you know, just a different one hanging. But you remember I told you that bead making, they're very simple. The reason why I say they're very simple, they are all repeat pattern. Now, I put it so that you can see it very well, and I will explain it to you. See? Now, the first thing I want you to examine is this, the red one. The red one, the method I just demonstrated for you, that is the method I use for the red one. Now, you see all this dangling one, right? Now, in between the red one, so what I do from the middle, I counted maybe like 10 from right and 10 from the left. Now, when I count, so I know that if I count from the middle, I count 10 from the to my right, and also from the middle, I count another 10 to my left. I'm making 20 all together, meaning that making 20, meaning you have the string, all this dangling string, 20 pieces. Now, when you count it to your left, then you start. Now, you can see the more it's descending down, the longer it is. What I do now is, for example, the long one here, I count maybe, for example, it's an 11. You do your design, you curve it, you can go around it. Sometimes you can just leave it straight. And the next one, instead of 11, so the next one you add 2 to it. That will be 13. The next one will be 15. The next one will be 17. Continue like that till you get to the middle. When you get to the middle, then you started descending back again. And meaning that you started removing 2 till you get to another 10 that you count here, then at the end of the day, you get your results this way. And
All
then
right. Question, hello.
yes.
Those strings that you were just mentioning a while ago, what kind of material are they and where do we access those?
Yeah, those you mean the fishing line? Yeah, the fishing line. You
No,
could get
not the fishing line, not the fishing line. The adornments that you have on the necklace that you're just putting down now.
yeah, you
Yes,
mean this one?
those. Yes, what are those and where do you get them from?
Yeah, the same place that is it T and B and downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
But
same
what is
place.
it? What is
They are
it?
all they are all glass bead.
Glass beads.
Yeah, glass bead. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I think I have some of the sample here on the tape under the table. Okay, let me show you some. See them here. So
Okay.
it comes in a pack like this. They come in a pack like this. These are the one I use the meaning for a workshop. You see they come in a pack like this. So it depends how it depends on the color that you wanted to do. Sometimes you might want to do some Jamaican color and the
Okay.
red, red and black, or yellow, red and black, or yellow, green and black. So you might want to do the flag and also the all the Rastafarian color. So for example, let me say I want to do the flag. That is the yellow, then the black and green.
And then the green. Okay.
Yes. So instead of me, now I can do one side from here to here. I do the yellow. From here, I do it black. While the remaining one here, I do it the green.
All right. Another question.
Yes.
So that technique that you have on the ornaments at the front there, what is the name of it? What is that technique?
You mean this technique?
Yes, what is the name of that?
Yes. That's why I said most of my jewelry and the big jewelry, I give them name. Like this one now, I give it forest. Because sometimes it's always good when you do your artist. You see, this is an artistic work. Sometimes you sit down and create a design. You look at and then you look for a title so that you write it down so that whenever you are repeating the same or whenever you are doing that the same one, you know that this is the title I gave to it. And then once you put it online and people wanted to buy, so you'll be able to, so any title you put on them or any name that you put on it, people will be able to tell you, oh, I want and this one you call Forest, I want this one you call Jamaica Connection, or I want this one you call Beauty. So things like that. So it make every of your work have a title, and then you'll be able to tell a story on them. So if ask you to tell a story that this is and this is the reason why this is, I gave the name.
I understand that and I appreciate the name, but what I was trying to find out is the technique. What do you call that? You see, like how you have batik or the other one. What is the technique? How do you get it to be twisted and bent like that?
No,
not that one, the previous one, right? How do you get it to be twisted? Right.
When you're doing it, it will be twisted itself. Not that it gets twisted.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it just gets twisted itself because of the nature of the bead. They are very small beads.
Okay.
When you're doing it, and then the beauty of it is let me just say that is the beauty of it. Because you won't want it to be
so those are beads as well.
They are beads. They are sand beads that I showed you. See, this size of bead. Yeah, the same sand bead. Everything is same sand bead.
Right, gotcha. All right, so
and then good enough, you can also add the crystal beads with the sand bead. But remember, the crystal beads are more expensive. So when you are doing it, you should be very, very creative in using both together. so that sometimes you won't use the only crystal bead for everything, and then when you're calling some prices on it, in which the price is worth it, you won't be able to sell them on time. But if you mix both the glass bead, which are not that expensive, with the crystal bead that are expensive, so you have to be very artistic when you mix the two together. It will come out very, very fabulous. And then let me show you an example of what I'm talking about.
Before you move on, Alan, before you move on,
okay,
she wanted to ask a question. So Shelly B, I am going to unmute your mic and you go ahead with your question, because I'm not sure if it's related to what we've been talking about.
Okay, so what is the same design, that is showing just now with the red and the gold. I wanted to know, how did he connect the attachments for the design that looks like a string of beads, the gold strings? How did he connect?
So you want to know how it was connected to the pink part?
Yes, because to the red part there, because it's
clustered. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Shelby.
Now, okay, let me use this as example. Okay, I'm going to lose in. I put on this one now. Now you can see this is, let me say, this is the red one that you're seeing here, right?
Right.
Now, how it was connected after you finish. This is let me put it this way. This is a red one, or this one go around the neck. That serves as a red one. Then you have your fishing line again. Make sure it's very long, because this time around you're going to use a lot of fishing line, but make sure that you cut off the one you can control. When you have it this way, now you remember I said if you want to do a design like this, you start from the middle. For example, you count 10. In between, you can say, okay, I'm going to use the bigger one as example. Now you can see in between them, there's the space in between. See the space? This space in between each one of the bead. That's where the dangling one comes out from. But what you do here now, let me cut off. Okay, I cut off a fishing line here now. Now you can see it's long enough. I'll use this one again as example. Now I get the middle. Let me fold it into two. Then this is the middle. Then I count 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let me stop here. Right now, the first thing I'll do is to knot. I put my fishing line in the fourth one. That is the fifth bead that is in between the gap. Then I do my knotting. See that? Make sure that it doesn't go into two of them, just one. Put into one. You put into one, then I do the knotting. Let me do the knotting so that you can understand very well how it was connected. So make sure you do the knotting twice. Always knot it twice so that it doesn't come off. Now remember, I always tell you, once you do it, don't cut. String this little one in between the bead. Now you see, you have a longer one. You have a long line. Now you count 10. Once you count the 10, you can't turn onto this. Okay, let me quickly demonstrate. Let me just show one little sample of what I'm talking about. Okay, I'll use a big, I'm going to use a big, you see, I counting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now you see it now. Now you can see it's dangling here. Now for you to achieve this, to stay on this body, now I put in the 11th one. I put in the 11th one. Let it go down. Now, on the bead of the 11th one, so I'm going to show you, watch it very well. Now, this is the 11th one, right? So I put my fishing line across the 11th one to hold on the whole of the bead. I want to make sure that you see what I'm doing. See? This is the white one. You see this white one? That is the 11th one. Now see, the white one is the 11th one. Then I put my fishing line. I didn't put it across this one now. I put it over the white one, and I'll string it down to the 10 beads. So that's what I want you to see now. So I do that. Then I'm going to show you how you will do the continuation. But let me string this one first. This is it. And then and one thing again, I will tell you, when you're working with the smaller beads, which is a very small bead, you use needle. Don't try to be, don't put it 1, 1, 1, 1. Use a beading needle, not just ordinary needle, but beading needle. There's a beading needle that you can have. I mean, the beading needle are very, very flexible. They are very flexible. They can curve. It doesn't break like the sewing needle. I think I have some of them here. Now, see what I did now? I show it to you now. Okay, yes, that's true. Put it across. Yes, and like here. Please, yeah. There's something wrong with it. Oh, not itself, yeah. Okay. Something is wrong there. Anyway. It hook up here. Okay, let me see if I can do this, but really did not. That's what I said. When you're working with your needle, make sure. Sorry, when you're working with your fishing line, make sure you put in a fishing line that you'll be able to control it very well. Now you can see what just happened here now. Just a little, this thing, it tangle itself. So, and once it tangle itself, you have to lose it, or else it's going to affect the entire thing you're doing. So, and then once you don't lose it, if you cut it, even though if you get to the middle and you're working, if you cut it, everything will lose. So you lose your design entirely. Now you can see what happened now that I need to remove it, but I will quickly do that again. As I said, the white bead, which is the 11th one. So what I do, I go over the 11th one. I go over it. Okay, yes. Yeah, it didn't knock this time. In the other time, I didn't put it very well. Let's see now. I need to do it. Yeah. Anyway, because I'm using the big beat, so it allowed me to do it this way. Well, if it's a smaller one, it's always advised that you use your fishing line. I'm sorry, it's advised for you to use your beading needle. Your beading needle will make your work very fast. When I say fast, it's very, very fast. Because when you are picking the needle, you don't need to be picking them one. Just put it inside the tray and use your needle to pick it up. Just when you put your needle in between, or just moving it, it will pick the bead up. It's a jump one. Okay. This is this is it. Now draw it down. Now you can see it's connected here now. You can see now. Now remember, in between, I told you when you count in between the gap, you knot your fishing line on this. After stringing, now the next one beside it, that's where you put in your fishing line. So I do that now. See that? Which is the next one, which is red. That is the one that will attach it. Now you can see that it is. Now you can see it is attached onto the body. Why the thing is attached onto the body? Now you can see where the fishing line comes out. It comes out on the next gap beside it. So you repeat the same thing, turn it over, put it into the next one, it comes out there, turn it over, put it to the next one, it comes out on the other one till you finish. Did I answer your question? Or did you get my explanation?
Genevieve, that question is for you. I understood what you said, Alo. Hopefully, Genevieve will just respond to say that she got it. There's another question that came in for you as well, Alo. Somebody wanted to know what is the best way to price some of the. Genevieve says yes, she got it. How do you go about pricing your work? What are the contributing factors to the price that you will charge?
Yeah, the first thing is the material. You remember I told you the beads, they have different prices for those beads. For example, if I show you this one now, this one that I show you, you see the red one, they are crystal beads. While this dangling one, they are just glass beads that come in a bag like this. And you see the crystal beads doesn't come in a bag this way. It comes in a string. It comes in a string. Yes, it comes in a string. They count. Okay, yes, I think I have a sample here. See, these are crystal beads. If you go to any store, see, it comes this way. You can see, you see the length? The length normally comes is the length that can go around the neck. See that? It comes this way and they sell it. So they have different prices. Now, let me put it, for example, if I buy this crystal bead, this just one like this, they will sell maybe just one like this for about 2,000 or 2,005, depending. We have some that it's worth more than that. But I'm using this as an example. I buy this for 2005, just this string. So, and I'm to use, and then one string can be enough for me to do this method. So I buy two, which go for 5,000. Why the bag? This bag, the last time I bought the bag is 600, the full bag. So you can see that from one bag, you could do up to like if you're doing this method, from one bag you can do up to 20 piece, 20 design like that, or this one out of it. So when you add it to, when you put it together, now look at your labor. If you're a new beginner, sometimes your work might be a little bit slower, but when you master it, at the end of the day, you put your labor, how many hours you spend. Because if I'm to do this one now, it takes me maybe like high as 1 hour. I'm done with it. So when I finish like this, I sell them for 10 to 12,000. Now again, let me tell you one thing again is, you see, in arts or creativity, you go advance. If you get to a certain stage, when I said the caliber of people that you're selling to again, it becoming, and then it's the way you package yourself. You started packaging yourself. When you first start, the way you package yourself, the second year again, look at how you can advance in packaging again, and your price keep going up. That is the way I do most of my own selling. And when you first start, your price might not be too high. You draw people's attention, people getting to know you, they started getting to know your work, and they know that, Tanisha's work is always beautiful, nice. And then before you know it, even though you started adding some little money on it, then they will not complain, because your work speak for it.
Hello, I'm recommending a bead making workshop. I think I need to come to the next bead making workshop, because this is really intricate work, and it's really some really beautiful designs and techniques that I'm sure a lot of persons here online could benefit from. Michelle is recommending it. Tina is recommending it, so I am not the only one. All the persons in the room are recommending it, so we probably need to look into that very quickly so that we can, capitalize on this momentum, because I know I'd certainly be interested in being a part of something like this. Have we done I think we have done bead making workshops before, right? Hello?
Yes, yeah, we've done some bead making workshop before.
Okay.
But then in a long time.
Okay,
I think,
so
yes,
probably,
I think it would be good if we have another one again, so that they could learn. But hold on, let me quickly show you something. I think I was about showing you something before, because you see this method that I showed you. Okay, yes, I found it. You see the method. See, look at this.
wow.
Now, if you look at this, you see this red one. So I want you to look at the red one closely. Look at the beginning here. It has the same thing with this. The same thing with this. Just look at the lining. So that was why I told you, when you know the basic, you will use the basic to do different designs. Different designs, you use it to do it. So each of them has a basic. Once you know that basic, all what you need to do is just to be turning it around. You can turn it around and do another design this way, turn it around and do another design this way. Now you can see this is another design entirely, but the same method that we used at the beginning here, but this one is just spiral. I titled this one spiral. So all what you need to do, the same counting, when you count in between them, count 5, turn it around, put it into the next one, add 2 to it, add 2 to it, just keep adding until you get to the middle. When you get to the middle, and start descending back again by removing 2 to 2 to, and then you just end up, and then the next thing you discover that the same shape you have here, everything just came out this way. See that?
Those are really beautiful, Alo. Monique
Yeah.
Bailey Allen says some persons may not want to pay the cost because vendors on the road might have the bracelets, etc. cheaper. But wondering where they get the beads to sell so cheap. But you know what though, Monique? What we are promoting here this morning is not the beads on the road. We are promoting a high quality. If you notice the intricate designs that go into and the techniques that go into producing what we have here. And this is why Alo was saying to you earlier, you know, once you position yourself and your product differently, then you attract a different audience. It's not everyone that is willing to purchase their jewelry, this kind of jewelry, on the side of the road. So position yourself in a way that you can attract the persons that you need to attract to purchase your items. There's a question. Beads into clothing, meaning that the decor is in the fabric. So can that be done?
Repeat.
Do you incorporate beads into clothing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it can be done. So it's you can make design with and then with bead onto your clothes, just to embellishment. Let me call it embellishment. Yeah, you can embellish your fabric or your cloth with beads. I don't have any sample here. I could have shown you.
Okay, all right. Alexandra, I noticed that you wrote a question in the chat, but I'm not understanding it. So raise your hand and let me unmute you, and you go ahead and ask the question directly, please. Because I'm not getting the context of the question. Suzanne is asking you to show the different designs. Which different designs, Suzanne? All right, can you just show us again the different designs that you were showing earlier, Alo?
Okay. As I said earlier on, you see, the basic for doing this is the same thing. It is the same basic we use to do this. So the finishing, the only thing that is different is the finishing, which is the down one. I call this one spiral. I call this one forest. You can see that it's the same basic. And also, this one, this is another method again.
That one is really pretty. Yes,
yeah.
That one is really pretty.
So this one is even very simple. All what you need to do, just string along, just keep stringing, and then when you finish, and then just roll it up, and then you can knot it in between, at the middle, or sometimes you can just leave it. So you can mix your bead, the same beads here, the same all these little beads. So you can use one color, or you can use multiple color. You can put multiple color together and string them with the beading needle, which is very, very simple. Now the same thing here, you can see. So the same method we use here, and the same method I use here. Now that was why I told you that once you know the basic, you can achieve so many things. The only difference here is weave. I just weave this one. I pick up maybe like 4 or 5, then I weave it just like weaving your or plaiting your hair. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Then you have it this way. That's it. That now you can see the one, and you can still turn it around again and do another design with it. Now another design again that I will show you. Okay, this is another one again. Okay, let me put it on the. Okay, let me put it here for you to see it. Okay. Don't mind this one in between, but I want you to see the design properly. You can see this. I try to do some bunch of circles, because it creates, once you do the basic, which is the basic is just in between. You see, the basic I use for this one is the same one that you use for this.
Okay.
Now you see this one is the same thing inside the blue one. The only thing that is different is that you see this circle one, or just the bunch of circle I used to cover it up, just like the way this. See this? I just use that one to circle, and then this is another method again. Now you can see, once you know how to use your bead very well. Sometimes I don't use all expensive bead, except it's on request that I know that, okay, this person, she want me to use crystal bead all through. Then I will know that, okay, this is good money. Then I will charge you well. But if I'm doing it for the market, I combine both the crystal and the glass bead. And I make sure that my selection of colors matches very well, that if you see it, you said what you'll be seeing is just beauty. You can see this?
Very beautiful, Aloe. And do you do earrings as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Most of them, once I finish them, I make sure I do the earring.
Yes.
Or sometimes I do the bangle, the three. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Alexandra, I'm going to unmute you now, and you go ahead with your question or comment. All right, go ahead, Alexandra. You can go ahead, Alexandra. We're hearing you. We'll hear you if you speak. Doesn't seem like her microphone is working. All right, so retype the question for me, Alexandra, and then we will see if we can answer any of your questions. All right, so Alo, there's just so much reaction to what you have just shown a while ago. Somebody asked about seed beads. I suspect it's the white one that they're asking if those are seed beads. Is there anything by the name of seed beads, or would that be the crystal beads?
The seed bead, yes, the seed bead, I think in Nigeria we call it sand bead.
Oh, okay. So you showed it to us before.
But you see, but You know, when I first came, I was looking for sand bead. In Nigeria, we call it sand bead because you know there are many look like sand. You know, just pack sand, just go to the sea sand. So why some people call it sea bead? When I call okay, sea bead, sand bead, and then when you go to the store, they say, oh, glass bead. And I said, okay, let me just follow what they wrote on it on the pack, glass bead. Yeah, but it's still the same thing.
All right. There is a hand raised, Chanel. I'm going to unmute you. And you go ahead, Chanel.
Hi, just here to basically help out Alexandra. I think what she's trying to understand is what is the best terminator or clasp to use at the end of each piece. So is it the lobster claw? Is it the magnetic? You know, she just wants to have a better understanding of what's the best terminator to use at the end of your piece.
And you see, at the end of the piece, it's always you will, if you look at the shape of your bead, we'll be able to tell which one best that will go for it. Now I'll show you an example. Okay. I'll turn each one of them around. And I'll show you. Now look at this. Now see the kind of, okay, I think now you can see. Now the reason why I use it so that it can cover up some, because there are a bunch of beads, it can cover it up, and so that it will look very neat and presentable. And the same thing with this one, which are of the same parent. You know that most of the bead I show you, I said once you know the basic, you can use that basic to create 100 design. So sometimes you see which are of the same parent. Now look at this. Now check this again. Now sometimes again you can
now
use
we see why
one.
It's $12,000. That's not normal. That's beautiful.
So now you can see how the ends look like. And let me show you another one again. You can see this one, right? But see the ending, because it has a very pointed an edge that can flush with that stuff. Sometimes again, you can use the clasp. That is the magnetic one. When you look at it, that okay, this will fit into it. Because once you look at your design, you'll be able to know that if you put one that is not too, then you yourself, you're going to figure it out that, oh, this doesn't really go with it. You need something that can. Now, another one again, look at this one. Because of the design, let me remove this. Now, look at the design, right? Sorry. And I make sure each one of them come with the now, look at the design. And look at the finishing at the back. Now, you see that the finishing at the back, they are two beads, one up and one down. Now, look at the clasps. You can see the joining. We have two hooks on both sides, making for 1, 2, 3, 4. And so that you can hold it up and everything look very nice. See that? Yeah, that is it.
All right, thank you very much, Alo. All right, so somebody was asking about other natural resources that could be used as well, like seeds. Would seeds be used?
Yes.
And so how they would do like boring or piercing of the seed in order to get the fishing line through it? Is there a methodology for that?
Yeah, there are. You can use those small drilling bits for this injury. I was trying to look around if I have one very close to me here, but I didn't find any that is very close to me here. I've like shown you some of the other indigenous material that we could use, or that you can use for bead or for jewelry. What I mean, and also you see another thing again is that let me show you one again. You can incorporate metal onto bead. You see?
Oh, so those black notches are in the middle here. Those are stones.
This? No, these are
Seeds, yes,
metal.
those are seeds.
No, these
Those
are
are metal.
yeah, these are metal. These are metal. So you can incorporate, even though sometimes again you can incorporate a wooden bead, the bigger one, depending how design or what kind of design that you want. I think let me see. Okay, this one goes around, yeah, so I can see it properly. You see, I don't know if it's clear.
Seeing it, man. We're seeing it. We're seeing it. We're seeing it.
Yeah.
These are some awesome pieces, Ella.
Yeah.
Really awesome pieces.
Variety. So you can add indigenous material with the bead or with the sand bead or with crystal bead. You know, anything there, just like one of the courses I took at Edna, some of my students, the course is independent jewelry in contemporary. Yeah. So where you can merge both the old and the new together. How you can put some whether bone, bone, wood, and you can add it with the crystal. You have to be very sometimes how you can merge coconut shell, the coconut and jewelry how once you polish it, how you can match all those things together to bring out or to be very creative to bring out a very beautiful design. So most of those things are very important when you're doing when you're making jewelry, because out there we have a lot of competition. So when you go out there, make sure what you see out there, you yourself don't repeat the same thing. I think I'm froze.
Okay. Yes, you are, but it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Alo. This morning was indeed informative. It was interesting. I learned so much. Somebody mentioned even about utilizing stones. Is that something that we could also look at as well? I know I've seen polished stones. So maybe it is something, but then stones can tend to be a little bit heavy. How do we get it to be light enough to be worn around the neck without feeling like a burden on your shoulders? Or are there special stones that we use for something like that?
Yeah, you see, we have precious stone and we have semi-precious stones. So each of them, there's a way that you can cure them. And I think we have a tumbler here in which you can use for your semi-precious stone. So when you tumble it, then it becomes so smooth in such a way that even though when you see it, you think it's glass. So you'll be wondering that, oh, is this precious stones? Yeah.
All right. All right, great. Thank you so much, Alo. Thank you so very much for sharing all of this wonderful knowledge with us this morning. I am certainly going to lobby for this beads workshop, this training session where all of the ladies that are present in the room this morning, plus me and a few more, we can come and learn some of these techniques, because it's as having these skills are never too much. You'll never know when something will happen, something will come up. You want to design something for yourself to go with an outfit to go somewhere, or you want to turn it into a business. This is an absolutely wonderful business idea that we can certainly capitalize on. And don't look at what's being sold on the side of the road as beads, but rather to make something of a higher end so that we can the best value, get the best cost for the value that we are sharing. Just want to remind everyone again that the session this morning was recorded. So if you know anybody that should have been here, but never got the chance to be here, please tell them that by Friday of this week, the recording will be available on our JBDC YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is simply JBDC Jamaica. So all you have to do is just search for it on YouTube and you will be able to see us. Subscribe, because then you'll be able to also watch some of the sessions that we've done before, as well as you can always follow us up to get additional sessions as they become available. Thank you again, everyone, for joining this morning. Thank you, Alo, for a very informative and exciting session. We look forward to have you again another time. And thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and see you week after next Tuesday when we will come back with another informative session in our JBDC virtual biz zone. Okay, everybody, have a nice day. Bye.